Hey folks, Peter here. Welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the series. Thank you for joining me here today. We're going to continue with our 3D printer series. You guys saw in the last episode, the benchy print did not work at all. A few things went wrong there. This pulled off the bed, and that just kind of ruined everything. So in this video, I'm going to go over some calibration steps that I can take here to help make that a better print. And I got some new parts already. So I'm going to be adding two parts today, and the first one, pretty big help. I think this is going to help a lot with the warping. It's a new print bed. This is a Creality brand PEI. I don't know what those letters stand for off the top of my head. Print bed. And what this is supposed to do is when it heats up, there's pores or whatever that open up, and it actually helps grab the filament in the extrusion so it'll stick to the bed. The issue that I was having in the first benchy print there was that the bed was heating up and putting out the heat, but then the top layers were cooling too fast, or however that works out. So when you get hot and cold and things start retracting and all that, and it lifted up off the bed. So hopefully with a different bed material, it'll stick to the build plate here and it won't have issues with warping. And since we're going to be putting on a new bed, I'm going to go ahead and install some new springs. Of course, they're orange. That's kind of a bonus. And hopefully with those, leveling will be a little bit easier. So I'm going to go ahead and move the camera. We'll get the bed pulled apart here and get this new sheet installed. So here we've got the printer, again, the Ender 3 Pro, fully stock as of right now. And I'm pretty sure, so here's the old print bed, and you can actually see where it started to stick. I think that was the skirt though right there. And this, I don't know, I don't like how this feels at all, so we're gonna change that out. And I think this comes with a magnetic sheet that you stick on, but I'm pretty sure I can honestly just take this and just stick it on. So that's that upgrade done. I don't actually have to remove anything. I don't know what I was thinking, but I'm going to take this bed off and get those new springs installed anyway, since we're at this point already. So let's go ahead and do that. Basically, I just have to go through and take these four knobs off. This is actually a pretty easy process. I know you guys can't see anything because the power supply's in the way, but just taking these knobs off. There we go, so we got the four knobs off. So this should just lift up, and we'll kind of show you the stock springs and compare and contrast with the ones that I just got. I can already tell you a difference right here off the bat. Here's the stock spring right here. I don't know the terms, but look how few coils there are compared to that one. So this is going to be a stiffer spring, and that should help keep things in place. I have seen also that you can actually get silicone bed mounts. So instead of springs completely, it's just a piece of thick, stiff silicone. And then once you install those, you're basically done. It's set up and it's good to go. So this is, I don't know why I put these springs on already. I gotta flip this over. So while I'm getting this set up here, hopefully you guys are enjoying the series so far. I've got plenty of other upgrades on the way. I know a big upgrade that a lot of people talk about is getting a new Bowden tube. And I actually do have one ordered from Capricorn. It's just not here yet. So it'll be for another video. And what's different about it is well, first off, it's orange. But more importantly, the internal diameter is a tighter fit. So there's less room for the filament to wobble through the tube as it gets to the extruder. So your steps, it just makes things run more smoothly. That's my understanding anyway. But more importantly, it was orange. I'm sure you guys are understanding the theme here now. Okay, so that's all four springs there. Now I gotta put all these knobs back on. I've got to do a bed leveling again, obviously. But now with these tighter springs, they're not gonna loosen up as quickly as these stock springs. The force they push out should help hold the knobs here in place a little bit better. Is there a certain upgrade that you guys want to see? Let me know. Maybe I'll pick it up. Maybe I've already ordered it. Who knows? Do you want to guess what my next upgrade is going to be? Leave it in the comment below. So technically all 4 of these knobs are now on, and with the springs at their loosest, the bed is raised up. So as you tighten it down, it actually pulls the bed down. So I'm just going to give that a good tightening so when I turn this machine on, there's no chance of the hot end here scraping along the bed. Now if I had this on a taller surface, I could kind of give an eye level first just to kind of get a decent initial reading, but I'm not going to get down on the floor here to try to get eyesight on this. I've given those all a pretty good turn, so this should be low compared to the hot end, so nothing should be scraping. That sounds cool. Alright, so there's our new bed installed. I don't know if the camera's gonna pick this up, but we're gonna... So it looks like this is... The Creality logo is etched into this metal, and then there's a sheet stuck over the top of it. It feels really smooth, and then apparently when it heats up, some sort of chemical action happens, and then there's like pores that open up and helps everything adhere to this print bed. So I'm gonna go ahead and fire this thing up and go through leveling. I forget if I showed it off already, but this is what I use for leveling. This is a feeler gauge, 0.102 millimeters. So that should be a pretty tight clearance there and help us get a good print, a first layer, a smoosh, I think they call it a smush, smush it down. So let's go and fire it up. Alright, so we got a bit of an issue here with the new springs attached here. Apparently this bed is still sitting too high for the 0 Z-axis for the hot end there. So I think I've got this figured out, and I'm going to turn this here so you guys can maybe see. Right here on the side, this is the Z home sensor. And all I have to do is it's, by default, is it's supposed to sit down, and there's a little lip that sits on. Here, maybe you guys can see it now down here. So if you look, there's this little lip on the edge of this block. And this is where the Z sensor clicker, that's what tells it where 0 is. I just unscrewed that and raised it up now. So now 0 on the Z is above the bed. So I think if I just fine tune this a little bit and adjust it some, I don't like that it's sitting up higher, but I can probably print a block or something and wedge it under there so it still has the full support. Not that I suspect that this will move much, because I mean it's screwed in with these 2 screws to the rail, so it should be pretty tight there. But I'm going to go ahead and try to fine tune this until it gets close just by eyeing it. Once I do that, I can always loosen the springs up with these knobs to lift the bed up to match the nozzle to get me right where I want to be with the feeler gauge there. So I'm going to go ahead and work on that real quick. Do some adjusting, auto home it, see where it sits, adjust it again, auto home, see where it sits, and we'll go from there. Alright, so I just did an adjustment on the Z stop sensor, clicker, whatever you want to call that. I'm not sure what it's called. So now we're going to try to auto home it again and see how close we got. Honestly, eyeballing it, it looks kind of close. I might have just nailed this. First try, I'm going to go ahead and disable the steppers here. It's close. Might be a millimeter off or so, and at this point, I would rather just adjust the bed springs to raise it up to the nozzle versus trying to fiddle with this again and throw everything off. So I'm going to go ahead and just start in one corner here. Now, is this the right way to do it? I'm not exactly sure, but I'm trying to make it work. Now, while I'm doing this, I'm also making sure to not push down or up on the bed, because that will affect the reading that I get. Alright, so there's just an initial leveling there. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the temperature here just to warm everything up. So it's going to warm up the bed, it's going to warm up the nozzle. As metal heats up, it does expand a little bit, and when we're talking about 1/10 of a millimeter, that's going to change once it heats up. Okay, well, my bed's at temperature now, and I just have it set at 40 degrees. The nozzle I've got set at 200. I might bump that up or down, but I don't think 15 degrees is going to make much of a difference for this case. My steppers are still off, so I can move this around. This corner back here is actually tighter now that it's heating up. So it's a bit of a process, but you have to do this to get everything set up. That first layer, that's what determines everything else. All right, well, I think that's pretty good there, actually. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up. I can tell that this stuff is working. There's little bits of filament being left on here. Since the hot end's heated up, it's actually oozing out just a little bit of filament. I don't know if you can see that or not. But now that this is all heated up, I'm going to go ahead and set up a print. We're going to do that benchy again, that boat, and we're going to see how it works. So while I have this heating up properly now, I've actually adjusted the bed temperature to 60 Celsius, and then the hot end I've got to 215. So we're gonna let that heat up. Usually the hotter surface for the PEI helps it stick better, but this is my first time using it. I'm not sure what's going on. Well, I'm not really gonna film too much of it while it's printing, so I guess I'll just get some of this stuff out of the way now. Give the video a thumbs up, comment down below. Let me know what you wanna see me do with this printer. If you've got a lead on some orange parts, that's gonna be huge. I saw on Thingiverse you can actually print, well, not for this rail, but for like the side and the fronts here, you can actually print little V-slot rails. I actually have some in here now that is filament, little bits of filament that drop into these channels in the V-slots, like this here, and it gets annoying. So I'm gonna print, I have some orange filament, and I'm gonna print and fill all these V-slots, so this printer is going to look a little more orange. But yeah, let me know what you guys want to see. If there's a certain upgrade that you want me to do, let me know. This should be getting pretty close to heated up. That is plenty warm. Right on cue, it kicks up here. And let's see what it does. That doesn't look like it's sticking. I'm gonna let it ride here. I'm wondering if maybe I didn't have the baby step Z down enough. It looks like it's sticky now. So I'm gonna let it run. The worse these prints are, the better off when I do some fine tunings and calibrations. So we're gonna let it go. So this has been going for a little bit here. Looks like the first layer is getting close to being done, and it looks like everything's sticking. My initial concerns with the outside edge, that's called the skirt, and that's just kind of like a warm-up lap, I guess you can call it, for the print. It looks like everything's sticking for now. I also really love the sound that this machine is making. But so far everything looks like it's good here, so I'm just gonna let it go. And I'll be back in, I don't know, 40 minutes, an hour, whenever it says it's gonna be done. And I'll see you guys then. And that's the print done. I'm gonna go ahead and reposition the camera here a little bit. But there was this attempt. There was the first attempt. That looks a lot better. So like I said, that is that print done. It actually did start to finish. Nothing fell off the bed. No big mess of melted plastic. The bottom of it looks like it actually stayed flush on the bed. Just want to let this cool down a little bit before I picked it up. I don't want to burn my hands or anything. But yeah, as you can see, that stayed flush on the bed there. So this PEI stuff seems like it works. This came right off. That came right off. This came... Well, I wasn't expecting that. Wow, so that's actually pretty cool there. Prints came right off there. I think the important thing I was reading is you gotta make sure that you keep this PEI surface clean. Just wipe it down with some rubbing alcohol. Just make sure that it's clean and not all smudgy or, you know, get other filaments off of there. So looking over this print, the bottom, that is completely filled in. Compare that to the first one. See how this one's got all the texture. You can actually see the individual extrusion lines. Maybe I might have smushed it too much. Just looking it over, it looks okay on the outside. I'm new at this. I wasn't expecting perfect, exact. I think I can see like it's called like a Z seam. I don't know if you guys can see that on there. Right here on the back. There's of course some stringing going on, so I'm gonna have to go in and adjust some settings. I heard some sounds from the machine. The unit that used to control the machine, it was making like a click sound every so often, like it was activating the menu. I wasn't pushing anything. I think you might have heard it right near the end of that print there. I have heard the extruder gear make some sound. I do have a new steel extruder gear and then an all metal extruder assembly. I'm not exactly sure what the point of that is, but they came in a kit, so we'll see how that works out. We'll get that switched out in a future video. I think getting that changed out, mainly the extruder gear itself, that should help with some of the stringing to make sure that it's actually pulling the filament back out of the retraction settings. Aside from that, I do have to get into the slicer software and run some retraction tests. I think you can print out like little posts just to see if you're getting stringing, see if you're getting the filament pulled out fast enough. And obviously I should be focusing on the settings before I start slapping new parts on it, but I also like putting new parts on stuff. So I'm gonna do a mix of both and we'll see what we get from that. This did turn out though, like I said, the bottom's flat. I don't see layers being like shifted around or anything. There are some gloopy spots. I don't know what that's called. There's like little bumps on the outside. I'm not exactly sure how to fix that, but I'll figure it out. And then some of the stringing, but otherwise all the features are there. Yeah, everything looks like it's in the right spot. So some more adjusting. We'll do that in the next episode. I'm also going to be looking at calibrating the E-steps, which is how much filament is being pushed through in a given amount of time. I'll get to that in the next video. We don't need to jump the gun there. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the series though so far. This is what, episode 3. Now it may not seem like a lot, but from the last video where we had this failed print with the big mess, we actually completed a print there. So that to me is an improvement. I'm gonna attribute that to this new surface here, the PEI surface that actually helped grip the print. So it actually had a nice base to build up off of. The first layer is pretty important, I'm finding that out. Whereas this one curled up, warped a little bit, and eventually the nozzle just caught. It thought it was clear, but all it needs to do is catch a little edge, and then it just pulled the whole thing off. So we are improving, we do have improvements there. I would like to get rid of the stringing next, so we'll do that hopefully in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Hopefully you are enjoying this series. Make sure to give a comment down below. Let me know what you think I should be getting for this printer. Printing a part, buying a part, some sort of upgrade, mods, whatever you think I might need to add to this thing. Give the video a thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.